Welcome to Ignite Technology, where we'll create enriching videos and content on technology.
Also, that this video will be talking about basic CSS styling. So in that case, there is good to mention now that there are three ways to insert or to get CSS, to write CSS. And what does CSS mean? CSS means cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet. We use it to style the web page. The web page, I already said before, is the basic structure. It looks like the skeleton. So the CSS is used to beautify it, to make it look appealing, to just to add beauty to it, to add flesh to it. In that case, having written this, I could write inline styling to this image. I could write inline styling by adding width to be 200, and you see it become smaller. If I reduce it to 150, you can as well see it get smaller. If I reduce it to 100, you could see it as well become smaller. So depending on what you want to achieve, depending on what you have in mind, all right? So with this is CSS. Let me emphasize it again. Attributes gives us more information or adds more effect to an element. Example of an attribute is this width I added. So attributes always come with a name and a value. The name that I gave to this image is width and the value is 100. Another attribute is this alternative. So if the image does not load, the viewer could see here logo. So supposing I decide to change the correct name of this image, maybe I remove one letter, you could see logo appear there because the image was not loaded correctly. But once I put the G, you will see the logo load because that is the correct name. So be careful when you are linking the image you want to use as logo or the image you are introducing on your web page. All right. If you don't get the correct URL, the file location, the file path, the image will not load. All right. Let's go over to another semantic tag. This should be what will be on the header. Now, another part is main. Main is usually what we see on the, between the header and the footer. So another semantic tag is footer. What the main stands for is the main page where you are performing, where you are doing your designs, where you are doing your development, where you are, manipulating the web page to suit your design. All right. Now, in this footer, oftentimes people write things like maybe copyright, the link that will take you back to the entire page, to the different sections of the website, are the things that are contained in the footer. We'll still take time to explain that. The interest now is on typography and just to mention semantic tags, and then to give basic CSS styling that you cannot do without. There are CSS properties that seem to be, a condition sine qua non while you are styling your website. All right. Okay. So going to let me just write something on the footer. Now I'm going to mention what we call entity codes. Okay. Entity codes. These entity codes always begin with the and sign. And sign. Maybe we are writing greater than, you see it appear. You can see what it means here. See its effect. And one thing about HTML is, if you like, put so many spaces. it will only see it as one space unless you use another and entity code that is known to be non-breaking space. This non-breaking space could add more spaces for you as much as you want it. But if you keep pressing space bar, you won't see it because I've added 3 more non-breaking space as entity codes. You could see the space between this greater than sign and this right up adjusting or increasing. But if you keep on writing using space bar, my dear, it will not add anything. It does not count for even these empty spaces. It does not count in HTML. All right, so let's go back to the main thing and write something meaningful. So, and greater than sign, people use that to write it maybe up to 3 times. You could see it appear 3 times. And then another one is and copyright, copy. You could see it. Maybe supposing I want to make this to be my website, could be your website. So you could enter your name here, you that is watching this code. Let me say copyright is Tech. So all rights reserved to avoid piracy. Okay. This is what we have on the footer. Now for the main tag, inside the main, we could have other semantic tags we could use. Let's call it section. In this section, this could be where you are talking about yourself. This could be where you're talking about yourself. And let's say in this section, the first thing I use here is H1. Now, H1 is a heading tag. Heading tag, you see how it appears. I am Tech. Now I'll use H2. You see how it appears. A passionate web developer. So I want you to make this, personalize this I'm writing, make it your own, make it your own page. Personalize it. You see H3. One thing I want you to notice is that each of them is coming with default margin, space between this, space between this. It's coming with default margin and default padding. So, passionate web developer, a mentor. So, you have this H1, H2, H3, H6. You will see H2 is not as big as H1. H3 is not as big as H2. And if I reduce this one, maybe H4, you see how it appears. If I reduce it further to H5, you will see how it appears. So there's no H7, okay, in case you are trying it on your own. Okay, H5. And if I reduce it to H6, you will see how it appears. H6 from my day. All right, it becomes smaller, but still it retains this bold format. Let me still leave it at H. A passionate front-end developer, a mentor, a tutor, and an analyst. All right, so let's leave it at this. Another thing I want you to add is P. P means paragraph. paragraph. So whatever you write inside it appears like the way span appears. But remember, span is a generic tag. Span is a generic tag that could be replaced with P, which is paragraph. Okay. So there is a font or words that come with that comes with VS Code when you write Lorem. So when I write Lorem and press enter, you will see it develops, prints series of words for me in Latin. When you if you are a guru in Latin, you could interpret this code, lorem ipsum doloro, sit amid concept or all those things. So that is what lorem prints out for you. I just want to use it to show you what the paragraph tag is all about. You could use it to write about you. You could use it to write a lot about you. Apart from this section, which is semantic tag, another semantic tag I want to talk about is article. Article. This is a semantic tag where you could write things about yourself, history, and you say about us, and then under it, you still use t tag to write we are here to make learning easy and affordable for you. All right. Thank you. Now, apart from article, another semantic tag I want you to know about is aside. All right. Let's use HTML to represent what could be inside this aside. Let's call it sidebar. Sidebar. And there are many others. Okay. So within the sidebar, we could list some of the things we would want to using another tag that I've not mentioned before, UL. UL means unordered list. Unordered list, we could list a lot of things inside it. For instance, the things that could be listed will be listed with LI tag. I hope I'm not saying too many things at the same time for you. Hope you are following all this while. So after inside the UL is LI, and you could see it with this bullet. Once you write LI inside UL, it comes with this bullet because it's an ordered list. There is also another type of listing I will show you. So here we'll write maybe list of items we selling if you are making or if you're developing an e-commerce website, or list of courses you have if you're developing an e-learning website, or whatever thing you want to list out. One of them could be, let me say, a building phone accessories. Phone accessories. Another LI, smart watch. Another LI, airport. Another LI could be tablets. Now, supposing we don't want to use UL, we could use OL. So within OL, we have another LI. So the LI inside OL is different from the LI inside UL. You could see it appear with one. So the OL is ordered list. Is ordered list. Let's mention these according to maybe the organigram of the company. CEO, another LI, general manager, another LI, regional manager, another LI, secretary. Let's leave it at that. All right. So let's leave it at that. We've said too many things here. Trying to build our website. All right. May we now quickly add some CSS styling. And there are three ways we could effect CSS styling on our page. One is inline styling. Example of what I'm going to do now is the inline styling. The inline styling, you go to the opening tag inside it and add it using style attributes. Using style attributes. Now, remember when I told you about style, when I told you about attributes, I said attributes gives us more information about a tag or an element, and it usually comes inside the opening tag. That's opening tag. So you don't add the attributes at the closing tag, you do it at the opening tag. So when I using style attributes, style, and I'm going to write the value of the style I want here. What are the values? There will be attributes inside attributes. Okay. So what I want to do here, first of all, is let me add color to this about color. Let me make the color right. You could see it changed to red immediately. Only that one. Only that one because I went to it inside that one. Supposing I want to modify this one and I go inside it and add style, color. Let me use background color this time around. Background color. I want to make the background color to be this color. Maybe you may not notice it, notice how obvious it is. Let me use blue color so that it will be obvious. Background color, let's make it blue. You will see it stretch. To make that color to be obvious, I will add another attribute, by saying color. So let's use color. Now there is where we write color codes. When you know the color codes, I would want to write using hash. You could see it's a gray color. Another hash code that is also like this is hash 333. This one is somewhat black. Hash CCC. Gray again. Maybe 888. It's also gray, but you will not see it clear. Let me use hash FFF so that it's just pure white and you see it very clear. All right. Now, supposing I would want to add padding inside it as well. Padding is adding extra space from inside an element. And it's measured for now, we'll be using px, which is pixels. Pixels. So let me say I use 20px. You will see how this one became bigger. All right. This is adding padding. Padding is extra space from inside an element. All right. This is inline styling that I've been doing all this while. Now let's talk about internal CSS, internal styling. We do internal styling using style tag. Style tag. We'll add it at the head part of the page. So style tag. All right. So in this case, whichever one I want to style, I will call it. For instance, I want to style header. This is how we call it. If you are calling a particular tag or an element. So when you call it, use these curly braces to refer to it, to make reference to that particular element you are addressing. All right. So what I want to add to this first to indicate where it is background color. All right. Let the background color for the header be ash F4, F4, F4. It's a gray color that you won't easily notice it. Okay, let me use this is gonna be a color riot anyway, but we'll still make this page so that it will not be too many shouted colors. You will still see it very much dynamic. All right. So the primary color for this page, I will choose it later. But for now, let's say we use green. Green yellow. Green yellow is it really going to be good? Maybe let me change it a bit. Yes. However it is, no problem. Let's still recognize it for now. Another thing I want us to add is padding. Now, for this padding, these are basic CSS styling, basic CSS, features that you cannot do without. Padding and margin, padding and margin. So this padding is extra space from inside of that tag header or the element, just as I did for this sidebar. Now you could add 1 unit by saying 10 pixel. You could see it, the effect of the 10 pixel. You could also add 2 units by saying 10 pixel, 20 pixel. This means 10 pixel for top and bottom, 20 pixel for left and right. You could increase it to see it on the left, 50 pixel. You see it on the left, it has become more obvious. Let me see, change it to 20. Now you can as well add 4 units. That is to say, it moves like clock, 10 pixel on the top, 20 pixel on the right, uh, 20 pixel at the bottom, and then lastly for the left, let's use 15 pixel. You could see that this part is now bigger because I have 20 pixel for this part. It's no longer as it was for top and bottom. All right, let's go to the next thing. I would want us to make reference to the main, which is the entire body part of the page. All right, let me call the main and style it main. What I want is border color, border. I'm not calling it in the proper place, please. So still inside this styling, main, border. In this case, I'm going to make it, let me just write it complete. Border color. Let the border color be red so that we will know where it is. Let the border style, border style be double so that you could see it. At least you could see it now. Let the border width be 2 pixels. Let me make it 5. It's more obvious. Let me make it 10. You could see it's thicker. At this point, I want to add padding so that there will be padding on the inside. So top and bottom should be something like 5 pixels. Let me use 10 pixels. Left and right, 20 pixels. You could see it. This entire part where the work is. Okay. At this point, I would want us to get the Google font I was talking about. So let us get font into this place of font. Yeah, this is the link, fonts.google.com. However, there are fonts that are already in your system in the VS Code. You can as well add it on the page. For instance, I want to address the H1, the H1 inside the main. I address it like this, main H1. Yeah, this tutorial is taking more time, but just pay attention. So main H1, and I want to give it font family. Let the font family be this here, this first one. You could see it change. You could see it change. If I have any other H1 inside this place, it will also take its effect. It will take this effect. Supposing I want to add H2 as well to this, I'll just add comma, H2. You could see this one as well, responding to that. If I don't want it to take that effect, I'll just remove it. I can as well call it and then add another font family to it. Okay, let's continue with the Google fonts we're getting. Uh, you could look at it and see the font that appeals with you, that is appealing to you. Suppose I want to use these bold ones. Is it from there? Making sense? Let me see if other ones will appear. I just want a stylish font I'm gonna use for. Okay, bunch tint. Right, like click on this. You click on get font. You click on get embedded code. Get embedded code. Now look at this, very important. You see this link? You see this at import? You are going to put this in your CSS. You put this on your HTML if on the HTML file. So this is the one we need for now. The one we need for now. So I copy it. Then come to this head part before the style and then paste it. It has been embedded to the code. It has been embedded to the code. All I need to do now is to copy this font family and it will appear. All right, may I now replace what I had here? You will see it change. I am Gabitech. Simple. Just because we pasted the link on the head here and I've copied the font family I want, bunched it sans serif. Just that. Let's get another one so that you could also see it. And that will make it better and easily understandable for you. I want to remove all this and add another one. So let me browse for another one. Suppose I just want a stylish text that I will use for the paragraph. Like we know what none of them has appeared that looks stylish. If you know the name of what you want, you just search it in this search bar you're seeing here, and then it will come up faster. Okay. Definitely find something that will fit into what I want. All right, let me use this attire. Click on it, get font, get embedded code, copy this again. Now, supposing I've created external CSS, I could get it imported by using this link. And for that, I'm going to use it so that you also understand it. Okay, so I will go to the CSS file and then write typography.css. Let me copy this one and paste it here. I don't need this style again because I'm not inside HTML. I'm inside CSS. What I don't need to do is to link this CSS file I created now to this HTML file. How do I do it? Let me do it directly under here. Link, select CSS. Then, as we loaded image before, use double dot, enter CSS, then select this name. It's been linked already. So once I copy this font family, Rataya, so I want it to be affected on the main feed. Then every main feed will be having that effect. Paste it. Let's see what is happening here. You can see it. Look at how our code is looking. Very demure, okay? And that I want to add here is, let's add, since we're talking about typography, text align, justify, see the effect of the justify, line height. Let me say I'm using 2rem. I will tell you the meaning of the 2rem later. Just keep following. Then another thing I would want is to be on main page 2. Now, let me do that on the external CSS here so that you can also see it. Main H2. Because I linked it. Whatever I'm doing here will be effective on the web page. So what I want is text transform. Text transform. You could see some of all these things you're seeing here are effects of CSS. But what I want to use now is text transform. I want to make all of them uppercase. You could see it, page 2. I'm a passionate web developer. Another thing I want to add is making the text align. Let's make align it to the center of the page. You could see it. Another thing I would want to add is text decoration. Then make it underline. All right. I would also want to add color to it. Color as font color. So in CSS, in web development, you don't say font color, just say color. And then it becomes effective on whatever you add it. Let me use this brown. All right. For the main, which we called here, I would want us to add a background color of just a fainty color. So let's leave it at this. And lastly, let me just add small effect on the footer so that you can as well see it. Let this footer also have this entity code and less than. I would like to paste it 2 more times. All right. Okay. Remember, we've used inline styling, external styling, as well as internal styling. Inline, internal, and external. So here is the external CSS. Within here that we used style tag, we did the internal. Within here that I used style attribute is the inline. Okay. If you have any question, ask through the comment section. Try to hit the notification bell. The next thing I want to do here is to call the filter and add background color to it. Filter. The background color should look like the one we have on the header. Background color. Let me just copy it so that there will be a synchrony. Synchrony. Yeah. Even though it doesn't make sense that we're having red and green, but we'll still change that. I would want to add font weights, bold, font weights to make everything we have the bold. Text align to be at the center. And finally, let me add a height to it of about 20 VA. Still not given, too small. 40. Okay, it's not small. I didn't actually see it. 20. Let me add padding top, padding top to so that you see the effect of the padding top. Let me make it 2 rem. All right. And that's what it is 10. And let's make the color of this filter to be red. Not good. Ash. FFF. Can blue go? All right. Let's leave it at this for now. Let me leave it at that ash. FFF. Okay. All right. As we're gradually coming to the end of this particular exercise, I would like you to do some task on your own. And I'm going to drop the task here, and I'll expect you to make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. It's for your own good, okay? So the task is just a summary of what we've done. So I would want you to modify, to create another web page, that has a header, footer, modify the fonts using Google Fonts, and you must use this Montserrat Open Sans. I expect you to do that. Um, the next one you're going to do is to create different font size. So you're going to do this as well. So you will use different font size for tags, for H1 tags, H2 tags, P tags, and navigation tags. Then the next thing I would expect you to do, um, I would want you to add hover effects to the navigation links, the A tag that we used, navigation anchor tags. We didn't do it, but I would want you to research on how to do it, anchor tags. All right. So show me what you've got. I know you can do it. So these are the assignments you're going to do. I would want you to recreate it on your own. Please endeavor to do that. In our next class, in our next tutorial, we shall be delving into CSS layout, flexbox, as well as positioning properties. This will help us to, arrange the header, arrange the content of our web page, and to make them more and more appealing to the user. Thank you for your audience, as I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get our more tutorials. Bye.